Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wright Park once again to hear some Cowboy band. We're so glad that you're here. My name's Jacob Miller. I've had the pleasure of conducting a lot this summer, and then unfortunately we've had too many weeks off, but we're so glad that we're ending our season strong with some good-looking weather and some sunny weather with that. So we hope you enjoy being here tonight. We're honoring female composers tonight, especially in honor of this year's Dodge City Days theme. All of our music will be by women. Composed by them, published by some of their own publishing companies. So it's kind of a fun theme for us in honor of Women of the West for this year's Dodge City Days, which is about to kick off. So hope you enjoy. If you please stand as you're able for the playing of our national anthem, followed by Home on the Range. The band's first piece tonight was composed by Brittin Chambers. Chambers was born in 1970 and is currently on the music faculty at Texas Lutheran University. She is the owner and composer of Aspenwood Music. Chambers is commissioned often to compose and arrange works for concert band, marching band, and various other ensembles. Before joining TLU, Carol taught middle school and high school band for many years in the Northeast Independent School District in San Antonio, Texas. She holds a Master of Music in Trumpet Performance from Northwestern University and a Bachelor of Music Education from Texas Tech. This piece, Byzantine Dances, was meant to portray a set of Turkish dances and premiered at the Midwest Clinic in 2018. The opening and closing dance sections feature fast and energetic lines in the style of a Roma gypsy dance, where the melody incorporates grace notes which are fun to play. The slower middle section is written in the style of the Zabek dance, which is often performed by a solo dancer, symbolizing courage and heroism. We hope you enjoy Byzantine Dances by Brittin Chambers. If that was the last piece tonight, I would have thrown my baton and one of you could have caught it during the hay. Bad planning on my part. Our second piece is titled Chasing Sunlight and is a really popular piece by composer Cait Nishimura. Nishimura was born in 1991 and is a Canadian composer, musician, and educator. She holds a Bachelor of Music and a Bachelor of Music Education from the University of Toronto. Nishimura is known for writing contemporary music that is approachable, relevant, and enjoyable for all musicians that perform her music. A lot of her music is also programmatic and nature-inspired. Tonight's piece, Chasing Sunlight, was inspired by the experience of driving west into the setting sun, as of trying to keep up with the Earth's rotation to catch the last few rays of light before dusk. The steady eighth note motif throughout the piece represents this sense of urgency, while the soaring lyrical themes depict the warmth and radiance of the sun in the low sky. Chasing Sunlight was the winner of the 2017 Canadian Band Association Composition Competition, which supports the creation of new works for concert band, by emerging Canadian composers. Next up, Anne McGinty was born in 1945 and is our next featured composer. She has been a reliable composer and arranger for the industry, writing music from the beginning band level to the most advanced. Our next piece is called All the Pretty Little Horses and is an American folk lullaby in minor mode. The original melody is presented by the clarinets, and the piece rhymes along an interesting journey with many impressionistic harmonies while changing tempo from 4/4 time to 3/4 time. The words of this folk song are gentle and optimistic and are as follows. Hush-a-bye, don't you cry, go to sleepy little baby. When you wake, you shall have all the pretty little horses. Blacks and bays, dapples and grays, coach and a 6 of little horses. Hush-a-bye, don't you cry, go to sleepy little baby. It's already time for this evening's Children's March, so all the kids in the audience, come on down, and once we're done with the song, you get to keep the flag for the rest of the summer. You never have to turn it back into us. So all the kids, come on down, meet Katie, march around to our song, which actually is a special kind of march because it's in 3/4 time. It's more of a waltz this week, so feel free to make up some new moves. Thank you. Yeah, come one, come all. You'll enjoy it. Wonderful. As they're getting ready, I'll introduce the piece. A lot of you already know this one. Like I said, it's not exactly a march, but it's lively nonetheless and a favorite of the Cowboy bands and the Boot Hill Variety Show. Down at the Long Branch Saloon was composed by Rosemary, who was born in 1920 and lived to be 97 years old. She was born in Colorado Springs and was raised in Sterling, Kansas. She studied dance as a young girl and even started her own dance studio in Sterling at the age of 14, or somewhere around then. She often played piano as well and enjoyed creating her own songs with lyrics from a very young age. Down at the Long Branch Saloon is obviously a part of the Long Branch Variety Show and was written by Rosemary. She and her husband founded the first Long Branch Variety Show in 1958. Here is our special tribute to her, and we're proud of everything she did for the show, and we're thankful to have this arrangement of her song for our Cowboy band. Ready, kids? Terrific. Nice. No one tripped with that extra beat added in, did they? We normally go in 2-4 in cut time. Nice shot. Good to see you all as always, kids. Our next composer is Erika Svanoe, who was born in 1970 and is an American composer, conductor, and educator. Dr. Svanoe earned a Doctor of Musical Arts degree in conducting from The Ohio State University. Tonight we will be playing her first published work, The Haunted Carousel, which won the 2014 NBA Young Band Composition Contest and was featured at multiple national conferences. She is currently an independent conductor, composer, and educator living near Minneapolis. Her piece that we'll be playing tonight features the sound of a special instrument often used in old science fiction and horror movies, and that is the theremin, which will be played by Ben Riley on the iPad. We couldn't find our actual theremin, so it'll work. We hope you enjoy the creepy yet exciting ride on the Haunted Carousel. If you couldn't hear our whispering at the end, the story ended with, she fell off the carousel. So I don't know who all heard that, or if you know the piece. There's the ending. Our next piece is a gorgeous ballad written by the amazing Julie Giroux, who was born in 1961 in Fairhaven, Massachusetts, and grew up in Arizona and Louisiana. She received her formal education in music from LSU and Boston University. She studied composition with John Williams, Bill Conti, and Jerry Goldsmith, to name a few. She is an accomplished pianist and French horn player, but her biggest passion and first love is composition. Giroux has even written for some television series and miniseries like North and South, Dynasty, and The Colbys, as well as in film for Karate Kid 2 and White Men Can't Jump. When Julie isn't clinicking bands or writing music, she is often playing her favorite video games and doesn't care how much sleep she loses in order to do the things she loves. We hope you enjoy this beautiful chorale. Let your spirit sing. As always, we're curious to see if there's anyone in our audience that's from out of town attending tonight's concert. So if you could please raise your hand and let us know if you are a Kansas resident, but you're not from Dodge City or Ford County. Anyone here early for Dodge City Days that applies to? Kansas? Okay. Anyone from outside of the state of Kansas that's here tonight? Very cool. We have 3 people right here in the middle. Thank you so much for being here. Right here in the second row, where are you guys from? Alabama. Wonderful. I think you're our first Alabama residents that have attended the concert this summer, so we're so glad you're here. And then right behind them? Arizona. Very cool. So that's pretty symmetrically opposite of us. So. In Brazil. You win the summer. You're the farthest travelers. Awesome. Thank you, folks, for being here. Wonderful. Was there another one? Oh, right back here. I'm so sorry. Florida? Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here once again. I think that was it. Wonderful. That's a really good variety. Yes.
How about not a native Kansas, native New Mexico, Kansas?
Oh, very nice. That's wonderful. Very cool. So we're glad you're here as well. So hope you guys keep coming back, even if you're from Brazil. Keep on coming. So hope you enjoy Dodge City Days as well. We have a few more pieces for you this evening. Now we'd like to play another recognizable song for most of you by one of Dodge City's own. Grace Gwinner is a part of the Dodge City High School class of 1946 and is known for writing our school's alma mater, Dodge High Forever. Grace's grandfather founded their family's restaurant, the Gwinner Cafe, in 1914 after it started out as a candy business. The cafe was a special place for the Dodge City youth where they could socialize within the community, and many of the school's sports teams would also hold celebrations there. Grace grew up in a musical family, and she learned the clarinet and also loved singing in the church choir. Grace Gwinner was she was inducted into our Dodge City Ring of Honor in 2021, pretty recently, and her song is still sung and performed all throughout the year. Please feel free to join in and sing the lyrics as we play Dodge High Forever, and the lyrics go as follows. Dodge High Forever, to thee we sing, through halls of learning our battle cry will ring. Demons forever, we raise thy standards high, and ne'er forget and ne'er regret, we are students of old Dodge High. I could have done that without looking at the phone, but I like to still speak. I don't even remember my high school's alma mater words, or if there were words to it, but this one sticks with me, that's for sure. So please join us in song on Dodge High Forever. I sure didn't want the band to only play music that is famous in the concert band world for you tonight, while we're honoring women who compose music. So let's celebrate an artist that has reached billions of listeners through multiple genres and with her incredible writing ability. Taylor Swift, as many of us know, is an American singer and songwriter and was born in 1989. She grew up very interested in theater and took vocal lessons often. She became interested in country music after discovering Shania Twain's music and decided she wanted to learn the guitar. Swift was the youngest person to single-handedly write and perform a #1 song on the Billboard Country Airplay chart with Our Song. And now we'd like to honor her and her songwriting talents by playing an arrangement of 2 of her biggest hits, Bad Blood and You Belong With Me. Here is a Taylor Swift duo. Thank you so much for being here once again this evening. We'd love to see you again next Tuesday here in Wright Park for the annual Salute the Troops Patriotic Concert. The Cowboy Band will perform that night at 6:30 instead of our normal 7:30 time. And you'll need your Dodge City Days lapel pin to access the event from over there. So make sure you bring that with you. And now we'd like to close our concert with a strong, uplifting fanfare titled As Spirits Soar by Christina Huss. Huss was born in 1962, and she is an educator and composer. She received her Bachelor of Music Education and Master of Music Education from Valdosta State College. She has taught at the middle and high school levels in band, and retired from teaching at Valdosta Middle School in 2016. In our closing piece, soaring melodies and tons of energetic rhythms are heard throughout. We hope you've enjoyed our music this evening and hearing a bit more about composers you might not know that well. Here is As Spirits Soar by Christina Huss.
you at the parade, hopefully Saturday. Thanks for being here.